Hello, welcome to my journey into womanhood segment 3. My name is Efiko. If this is your first time stumbling upon my video, I pray that you will watch it and then go back and watch segment 1 and 2. I'm talking about surviving female genital mutilation, and it's not because I want to talk about it, it's because God instructed me to share, because I know that he has a reason and there's somebody out there that has been looking for an answer to some of the issues that they might be facing, survivors of FGM in particular. This is for us. And so today I just want to quickly talk about the lies we're told about the Bunda Society. If you're from Sierra Leone, that's what it's called. If you're from other parts of the world, I'll just use the term female genital mutilation. The lies we're told about the Bunda Society and the difference between culture and tradition. FGM is not a cultural practice, but we see it as that. And how much did it cost? So, my father actually paid money to have my life altered, to have. Anyway, I get into that. I don't want to get hot before I actually talk about what I want to talk about today. So, what are some of the lies that we're told, especially if you're from Sierra Leone, about the Bunda Society? In my last video, the last segment, I talked about, they say it's a rite of passage from girlhood into womanhood, and many of us believe it. Up to today, 2025, you still have women who believe that FGM is a rite of passage. If you do not go through FGM, depending on the country you're from, depending on the community, depending on the family, you're not woman enough. I'm like, you're not woman enough, you're not fit for marriage. And also, and this is why I chose to obey the Lord's instruction. I've heard so many myths about the Bondo Society, about FGM. They say that women who have not been subjected to female genital mutilation, their genitalia, they constantly itching, scratch as if you've got some STD. And secondly, they're promiscuous. They always want to have sex. Huh. That's what they tell us. And those are the things they hide behind. So if you do not go through FGM, and also you're dirty. Women who have not been subjected to female genital mutilation smell, they're dirty, they're not clean. Are you kidding me? The smelliest, and I say this unapologetically, some of the smelliest, if I can even say it that way, girls and women I've encountered, actually women who've gone through, who have been subjected to female genital mutilation. If you do not take care of yourself, you will smell. So telling me that my having a clitoris would actually cause me to smell, telling me that having a clitoris means I'm less of a woman, is a lie. Telling me that not being subjected to female genital mutilation is a recipe for me being single the rest of my life. Telling me that not being subjected to female genital mutilation, I'm not woman enough. Actually, having been subjected to female genital mutilation made me feel like less of a woman. And I mentioned that in my last video. So those are some of the lies. And when you go through the actual practice, the actual ceremonies, because it's a secret society, they tell us that if you talk about it, you'll die. Your stomach will swell and you'll die. But guess what? Me being the rebellious girl that I was back then, when we came out of the Bunda Bush, the first thing I did was tell a friend of mine who's Creole, who did not undergo FGM, who was not subjected to this horrific practice. And I went home and waited to see if I'd actually die, if my stomach was swell and I'll die. And it didn't. And then I said, oh my gosh. They put fear in us so that we'll not share their precious secrets to those who are not members of this society. So those are some of the lies that we were told. And now I want to talk about FGM not being a cultural practice. Like I mentioned earlier, my mom is Creole. She was not subjected to female genital mutilation. And she's not the one who subjected me to female genital mutilation. It was my father's wife at the time. So if it was cultural, if it was a cultural practice, I believe everybody in Sierra Leone will embrace it. Every woman, every girl will be subjected to it. But it's not, it's a traditional practice. So I'm giving you an assignment. Use your phone, your computer, and look up the difference between culture and tradition. And this tradition has been passed down for centuries. You know, people believe that, oh, it's the men that do it. No, it's not the men. It's the women who subject their daughters, it's the women who subject their granddaughters, their nieces to this horrific practice, all in the name of culture. But again, it's not culture, it's tradition. And they believe that they're doing it for the girls and they're doing it for women, for men. Oh, well, if you do it, you know, man go married you, you become marriageable. Men will want to marry you. And I've got news for you. Most of the men that with whom I've spoken say they do not want to marry a woman who's been subjected to female genital mutilation. One man from Senegal told me when I interviewed him, he said, I don't want to marry a woman that's undergone female genital mutilation. He said, being with a woman who's gone through FGM sexually is a calorie burner. And I'm like, what do you mean? He said, because it takes too much work to get them aroused. And that's our story, most of us, unless you're not telling the truth. Do I enjoy sex? Did I enjoy sex after FGM? Yes. Is penetration always easy and the God's way? No. Penetration has always been painful for me. And that's the story of most of the survivors with whom I've spoken. So he said he's a man, and if he is for whom that the practice is being done on girls, why would he say he does not want to be with a woman who's been subjected to FGM? Because to him it's a calorie burner. He doesn't want to do all that work anyway for nothing. And besides, the women don't really enjoy sexual intimacy, sexual pleasure, sex. So that's the other thing. And how much did it cost? Do you know my father actually paid for me to have for them to amputate my clitoris and the hood? I promise you that I'll talk about the type that I was subjected to. Okay, I was subjected to type 2, but growing up I thought that it was all type 1, which is, if you're paying attention, is clitoridectomy, which is the partial removal of the clitoris and the hood. But when I had my restorative surgery in 2017, and I'll talk about that later, I found out that it was actually type 2, not just type 1. They removed my inner labia, the inner lips of my vagina. Can you believe that? And my father actually paid to have this done. The cutters do not do this for free. No. They get paid to torture these girls. So my father paid money to have me tortured for the rest of my life. Let that sink in. And the richer you are, the wealthier your family is, the more money they pay. So they'll pay in currencies of the country. Some people get expensive fabrics, alcohol, expensive wines, and all of that. So I want to leave you with this. My father paid to have me torture for the rest of my life. And I'm still not over that. So again, as I usually end these segments, if you're a survivor of FGM and you're going through, you've experienced, you see yourself in what I've talked about in these 3 segments, I pray that the Lord will comfort you and he will heal and mend your heart and your soul. Till next time, I'm Efiko. Thank you for watching. Ta-ta.